Have you ever felt lost and alone? Have you ever wondered if anyone truly loves you for who you are, flaws and all? In those moments of doubt and despair, it's important to remember that God's love for you is unchanging and unconditional. His grace is ever present, ready to lift you up and carry you through every situation. God's love is steadfast. Unlike human love, which can be fickle and conditional, God's love remains constant. He loves you just as you are, and nothing you do can make him love you more or less. This truth is the cornerstone of our faith and the foundation of our hope. Consider the story of the prodigal son. Despite the son's rebellion and reckless living, the father welcomed him back with open arms, illustrating the depth of God's grace and mercy. No matter how far we stray, God is always ready to welcome us back into his loving embrace. God's grace is sufficient. When Paul faced his thorn in the flesh, he pleaded with God to remove it. But God's response was, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." This powerful reminder encourages us to lean on God's grace, especially when we feel inadequate or overwhelmed. In times of trouble, God's love is a refuge. When life's storms rage around us, we can find shelter in the arms of our Heavenly Father. His love provides peace and security, even when everything else seems uncertain. Trust in his love and let it be your safe haven. God's love is proactive. He doesn't wait for us to come to him. He actively seeks us out. Jesus described himself as the good shepherd who leaves the 99 sheep to find the one that is lost. This relentless pursuit of our hearts shows just how much we mean to him. Embracing God's grace means letting go of guilt. Too often, we carry the weight of past mistakes, believing we are unworthy of God's love, but his grace wipes our slate clean. By accepting his forgiveness, we can move forward with a renewed sense of purpose and peace. God's love transforms us. When we truly grasp the magnitude of his love, it changes us from the inside out. We begin to see ourselves through his eyes, and our actions and attitudes start to reflect his love and grace. This transformation is a testament to the power of God's unchanging love. God's grace empowers us. It's not just about forgiveness, it's also about empowerment. God's grace gives us the strength to overcome challenges and the courage to face our fears. With his grace, we can achieve things we never thought possible. Think about the story of David and Goliath. David, a young shepherd, faced a giant with nothing but a sling and a few stones. Yet he trusted in God's power and grace. This story reminds us that no obstacle is too great when we rely on God's strength. God's love is personal. He knows us intimately and loves us individually. He understands our struggles and rejoices in our victories. This personal relationship with God is a source of immense comfort and joy. In every season of life, God's grace is sufficient. Whether you're in a season of abundance or a season of scarcity, his grace meets your needs. Trust that he will provide exactly what you need at the right time. God's love is the foundation of our identity. We are not defined by our successes or failures, but by his love for us. This identity gives us confidence and security, knowing that we are cherished by our Creator. Reflect on the story of Peter walking on water. When Peter kept his eyes on Jesus, he was able to walk on water, but when he focused on the storm, he began to sink. This story teaches us to keep our focus on God's love and grace, even when life's challenges seem overwhelming. God's grace calls us to love others. As recipients of his unending love, we are called to share that love with those around us. This means extending grace, forgiveness, and compassion to others, just as God has done for us. God's love is our anchor in times of doubt. When we face uncertainties and questions, his love remains our steadfast anchor. It reminds us of his faithfulness and reassures us that he is in control. God's grace covers all our fears. Fear often holds us back from fully embracing God's plan for our lives, but his grace gives us the courage to step out in faith, knowing that he is with us every step of the way. Think about the story of Moses and the Red Sea. Faced with an impossible situation, Moses trusted in God's power and grace. God parted the Red Sea, allowing the Israelites to escape their enemies. This story is a powerful reminder that God makes a way where there seems to be no way. God's love never fails. Human love can disappoint and hurt us, but God's love is perfect and unfailing. It is a love that we can depend on no matter what. Embracing God's grace means living in freedom. We are no longer bound by the chains of sin and shame. Instead, we are free to live the abundant life that God has promised us. This freedom is a precious gift made possible by His unchanging love. Remember that God's love and grace are constant and unchanging. No matter what you face, His love is sufficient to see you through. Embrace His grace, trust in His promises, and let His unchanging love transform your life.